Hi guys, my name is Amish Tripathi and I'm the director of the Nehru Centre. The Nehru Centre is the cultural wing of the Indian High Commission in the UK, and we've been in existence for many decades, and we organize wonderful events at this very auditorium, which is in Mayfair in central London. Sadly, as you can see, the auditorium is empty. It has been empty since we were all put into lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. But what we Indians believe is that the other side of a crisis is an opportunity. And what we have done at the Nehru Centre is moved all our events online. So now if you attend our online events, every single seat is a VIP seat. Like you get a front row at our events. No trouble of parking, no trouble of travelling all the way. And most practically all the programs that we would do, like literary discussions and dance performances, musical performances, we are doing them all on our online channels. You can register for our newsletter at our website nehrucenter.org.uk. You don't need to write them down, they will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. You can also come to our Facebook page, which is a verified page, the Nehru Centre. You can follow updates on all our events on Twitter as well, the Nehru Centre, that's also a verified account. Or you can come to our YouTube channel, again, the Nehru Centre. We are nothing if not consistent. I hope you do come to our online channels and enjoy the events that we are putting up for you. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Namaste, Jai Hind.
Wow. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And today I believe we have a record number of children, parents and grandparents logging in. So pranam to all our elders. A big hello, namaste, assalamu alaikum. And welcoming you all to this amazing event that we have for you all today. We have an ever-growing Nehru Centre family who are streaming in and joining us from across the globe. Right, friends? So let's make this interactive. Please write to us, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any platform that you all are using. Write to us, tell us where is it that you are logging in from. Indeed, as you all know, we have a very special show today. A truly inspiring show. We have an extraordinary, humility personified, highly evolved guest. But before we welcome her, I would like to first welcome our visionary director, Amish Tripathi, who makes these amazing events happen at the Nehru Centre UK. Amish is a visionary, a diplomat, author, columnist, a maverick thought leader. He's taken over as the director of the Nehru Centre in London in October 2019. Amish has been listed amongst the 50 most powerful Indians by India Today. Forbes India has ranked Amish amongst the top 100 most influential celebrities in India. Amish has written 9 books till date. His books have sold 5.5 million copies and have been translated into 10 Indian and 9 international languages. He's iconic, to say the least, and I'm reading Dharma as we are doing this event. So, my dear friends, let's welcome Amish first.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raageshwari. Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting this. And if I may just jump into something that I'm deeply excited about, because we have many guests, but very rarely do we get a guest who I'm personally a fan of. I'm, of course, a fan of her books. She's a fabulous author, but even more importantly, she's a remarkable human being. If we can just bring Sudha Murty up on stage. Namaste, Sudha ji.
Namaste.
What an honor to have you on stage. Sudha ji, if we, before we begin, if I can just read out your formal introduction for our viewers in the UK.
Of course.
Sudha Murty ji was born in 1950 in Shiga, Haveri district in North Karnataka. She completed her engineering from BVB College of Engineering, obtained first rank across all branches and received a gold medal from the Institute of Engineers. She did her MA from Indian Institute of Science with distinction and started her career as an engineer with Telco, now Tata Motors. In the UK, you'd know Tata Motors is the one which owns Jaguar. Today, she is the chairperson of Infosys Foundation and has handled 16 national disasters in the last 24 years. She studied in a Kannada medium school till the 10th standard and fell in love with the language, a beautiful classical language. Her strong ties to the language and its people led her to establish more than 60,000 libraries in Karnataka. Yes, you heard that right. She also strongly believes in creating awareness for social causes and has passionately traveled the world for this purpose, including universities and gatherings in the USA, Colombia, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, New Zealand, Australia, England, Thailand, Vietnam, China, Tibet, and Singapore. A prolific writer in both English and Kannada, her books have been translated into all major Indian languages and have sold over 30 lakh copies around the country. She is a columnist for English and Kannada dailies with 30 books, amazing productivity, 30 books and more than 200 titles to her credit, including novels, non-fiction, children's books, travelogues, technical books, and memoirs.
Wow.
She also received 9 honorary doctorates. Some of her awards include the R.K. Narayan Award for Literature, the Padma Shri in 2006, the Atmanibhe Award from the Government of Karnataka for Excellence in Kannada Literature in 2011, and Lifetime Achievement Award by Crossword Book Awards in 2018. And more recently, the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in 2020. She lives by the belief that generosity of a few is the hope for millions.
Wow.
Very rarely do you find an individual who is so blessed by the Almighty with so many talents and yet is so remarkably humble. And that's the thing that grabs you most about her. What a remarkable human being Sudhaji is. Sudhaji, there are some people, many people whose respect is raised when they come to the Nehru Center platform. There are some rare people, when they come on our platform, the respect of Nehru Center is raised. You are one such luminary. Thank you so much, Sudhaji, for coming here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Amish.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If I may jump in straight away into a question.
Of course.
Because one of the things I found most remarkable, I've read many of your books on our Itihasa, but I'm enjoying 3000 Stitches the most. The thing that I liked most is your story on your BVB College of Engineering, where
how to beat boys.
Exactly. Many may not know she was the only female student there for her 5 years of engineering. And what I found most remarkable, which is a very different way as compared to how the women's equality movement has come to the West, she didn't ask for any special treatment at all.
Yeah.
And she competed on the rules set by others and came out right on top. Can you tell us your story there, Sudhaji?
Well, yeah. I come from a small town known as Hubli, maybe about 80,000 population in those days. My father was a doctor and a professor. We were 3 sisters and a brother, but my father treated all of us in an equal way. So when I decided I will do engineering, which was unheard, actually in those days, it was the year 1968. Okay, and it was like a bomb exploded in a family because no, in our family no one has done engineering. My father was himself was a doctor, so he said, "Look, you get along well with people, so I think you will be a very good doctor because of medicine connects to people, and you require a lot of sympathy, compassion in medical profession, and your communication skills are good, and you can do." My mother was a school teacher before her marriage, and she was very good in math. So she said, "Your mathematics is very good. You can become a professor of mathematics, and it is good for a girl to be in a teaching line because she gets 2 months holidays. She can manage home as well as her career fairly well if you are a teacher. It's a respectable job." So my mother wanted. My grandfather was a scholar and a teacher, and he was a history teacher, and I used to discuss with him a lot about history at the age of 9, 10. I think I started. So in the last 60 years, I spent time on history, reading, research, etc. So I started in a very young age, and he said, "Beta, don't do this engineering, etc. This is ras nahi hai." That means there is nothing like it is not like it's a dry subject. Better you do history and you will come out with some great research. So do that. My grandmother was really worried. She said, I come from a small community known as the Madhva Deshastha Brahmin community. Okay, it's a small community and very orthodox community. So my grandmother said, if you do engineering, no boy from our community will marry you. That was her worry. She never knew. She never knew across the river there was Narayan Murthy. Okay, at that time she did not. Okay, so my bua said, look, this girl doesn't have head and she wants to do. And father says, okay, you can do. And she, we will not come for her marriage. She will go out of the community to marry someone. They extrapolated my marriage. Okay, and everybody felt, and a lot of people thought there's something wrong with me. My thinking method is wrong. And more than that, my father does not understand the responsibility of a father of 3 girls. So they said, Dr. Saab, uska bheja to, I mean, your brain is not maybe okay or not. You should have sense, common sense. But my father said, look what my daughter is asking. She is telling, I don't want money, I don't want good sari, jewelry, nothing she's asking. She's asking, she wants to study. And she likes applied science, and which is nothing but engineering. And let her do, it doesn't matter. So with a great difficulty, in my college professors were not keen because they felt, look, this girl will come, she will talk to boys, and live in between. Engineering is meant for boys, it's never meant for girls. So she may not pass, and why have all this headache? So in every side there was a reaction that I should not do, but I insisted. The principal of my college called my father and told, look, your daughter is very adamant, but however, I want to convey 3 messages to her. Number 1, she should wear a sari to the college because there are only 149 boys in her class. She should not wear it. I mean, there's no other dress in those days. Okay. But she has to wear a sari. Second thing, she should not go to the college canteen, okay, and sit with boys and eat. That's not allowed. Third one, she should not talk to boys. And I said all 3 are okay, but in the 5 years, it was a 4 years course actually. After FY, I went 4 years course. I did not. I wore sari. I did not go to canteen because the food was bad. But I did talk to boys. And that gave me an extra strength in life. That in those days, girls are supposed not to talk to boys. A good girl is not supposed to talk to boys, but I can talk to boys, and it made me to understand how boys think and how women think. In a way, it helped me a lot. So I go to college, and boys were not keen, or not keen is not correct word. They were wondering which is this new animal which has come to the zoo. Okay. Because they are not used to seeing a girl in the class. And the first bench was kept vacant for me. And I go there, some naughty fellow put some blue ink on that so that they wanted to know where I will sit. I took a paper, removed the ink, and I never complained. I sat. Then they will throw paper arrows to me. Somebody will put a flower stick in my. It was a small classroom like this. They'll put some flowers here, and not even once. I will remove everything, but not even once I complained. Because if I complain, I knew. They say, we told you not to join. It was you wanted to join. The worst situation was there was no, ladies' restroom. Because they never imagined a girl will come to college and she requires a restroom. They never ever thought. So they never made a restroom. And then they never intended to make a restroom. Because they were not sure whether I'll continue or leave. Why waste money? But I said, doesn't matter. I used to walk to my house about 2 kilometers, and 7 to 11 was the class. 11 I'll go home and use the restroom, come back at 2 o'clock, 2 to 5 was the practical. It made me actually emotionally very much autonomous. Like what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Atmaihi Atmano Bandhur, Atmaihi Ripu Atmano. Who is your best friend in life? You yourself. Who is your worst enemy? You yourself. So if I want to succeed in life, I should be best friend of myself. That means I should control my mind. I should be disciplined. I should work very hard. And I never took a single day off in my 4 years course because I never wanted to, nobody will give me notes, and I never wanted to share notes of anybody because I was a better student. First semester, I was really worried. My mother used to ask me, Are you sure you will be able to pass? The person said, no. I said, okay, I will try my level best. And first semester, I stood first in university. I realized, I think Amish should really excuse me. I realized women are smarter and stronger than men. It was a myth.
So sorry, Sudhaji, we can't hear you clearly. Hello.
Hello? Huh.
Hello. Yeah.
Can
Sorry.
you hear
Sorry.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I got first rank, I realized it's a imagination that boys are stronger or better in engineering. Yes, are smarter,
Uh,
better managers, more hardworking. I thought, oh, that's all about boys. Okay, don't. I could beat every boy whoever they call very intelligent. And then, I will do carpentry better than him.
uh,
Wiring, I will do better. Yes, whatever the engineering subject I could do better. Including the
uh.
chain.
Always.
I will pull the chain. I will pull the chain. I will make the drawings and I go boys you can copy. So,
Wonderful.
Can you
Sudhaji, I'm so sorry. Your voice is going for
perhaps
a.
without the earpiece?
Ah,
you can hear me now?
This is
perfect.
perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, this
Amish,
may be
Yeah. Perfect.
Amish, this would be the perfect time for you to ask about, the
No,
telco, because
I'm
it's all about
fascinated.
women and men.
No, and Sudhaji, when you were talking about your troubles at the college, the fact that you did carpentry also better than them.
what boys do, I should do because it's a lab actually.
Correct.
I could do better than them actually.
That's
Ah,
Carpentry,
the
I could do
mindset.
better
Yeah.
than them.
ah,
Okay. So there used to be a fish pond. There was a game in olden days. You can
ah,
make a comment on one day, you should forgive them. You should not take it seriously.
ah.
I used to get maximum fish pond, and some boys will write, सजन रे झूठ मत बोलो सुधा के पास जाना है नहाती है बोला है किसी मंजिल का वो गाना है सजन रे झूठ मत बोलो
Ah.
राजकर I think it is Waidar Rahman
And Sunil Dutt, I think. Oh, Raj Kapoor, sorry.
Tisri Manzil is Shami Kapoor.
Ah,
This is this song is in I think so. I remember vaguely this one.
ah,
Sajan Re Jhoot Mat
ah.
Bolo. One is with Shami Kapoor, one is with Raj Kapoor.
खुदा के पास
Waidar
जाना है.
Rahman.
But we love your version.
There is that. Okay. Anyway, so this is my story of how to beat boys.
Oh.
And
But
I learned that there is nothing like gender bias, boy or a girl. It is a hard work, it is a passion, it is a determination,
true.
and of course the family support which I had with my family. I could achieve all these things.
Yeah, and also because
Sudhaji, you continue to face this trouble even when you went for work, when you applied to Telco. Tata Motors, which was known as Telco in those days, they had a view that ladies need not apply for the job, for the engineering job. And you'd written directly to JRD Tata that how can you have this bias?
That's true. That is true. That is true. I was in final year of my ME and Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and I was not keen to take up a job because I wanted to go abroad and do my PhD, and I got admission. One day I saw a notice on the notice board: the Telco, Pune, and Jamshedpur requires young, bright engineers, etc. And all the qualification they gave, and 2 years you have a stipend of 1,500, and it was a very huge salary in 1974. Although at the bottom they wrote, lady students need not apply. Like cigarette company advertises, say this is a great cigarette. At the bottom, smoking is injurious to your health. Okay, that kind. And I was quite upset. I said, why women should not apply? There's something wrong. And I said, I should not keep quiet. I should write a letter. Now, in March of every year, Mr. J.R.D. Tata used to come to Indian Institute of Science. As on a founder's day, that was Jamshedji Tata's birthday, he used to come. And from a distance, because I am, after all, a girl from a small town and a middle class family, and JRD was, number one in India, great. When he used to come, I would stand there and I used to observe. Extremely handsome, like a green frog. I said, my God, he used to come and everybody was awe of him. So I said, when they go advertisement, I know you Tata's coming. And immediately I took up the No, so J.R.D. Tata, then to Bombay. And I wrote there is somebody else who does this kind of a thing. I understand. But Tata, you are always ahead of time. You started the companies when others are thinking of only for themselves. You are ahead of time. You have Tata Salt, Tata Chemicals, and Tata Textile, Tata Iron and Steel, and you are always nation building company people. And when you say about doing all this, I agree with you.
Uh, Sudhaji, Sudhaji, so sorry again. The sound doesn't seem to be working
Yes,
from the
and it
thing.
would be a pity.
May I suggest one thing? If perhaps if you could just log out and just log back in, then maybe the sound just click out and just click back in. I will read some parts of
Perfect.
3000 Stitches.
1 second. Leave the studio and come back again.
Yeah, just leave the
log
studio
out,
and you
yes.
could just come back again.
And
Just click
click
on the
the
link
link
and come back again. Yeah. In the meantime, while
Wasn't it
Sudhaji comes
amazing?
back,
Yeah.
let me read some stuff. Okay, from the book. Of course, all of you should check out her many books on Indian
Oh.
Puranas and
And
Itihasas and
I'm
her
doing all the
children's
children.
books.
Yeah, the
But
children's.
her finest book is the one we're displaying out here as well, 3000 Stitches, which I'm thoroughly enjoying reading. And let me read a section from the story that she just spoke of the BVB engineering college, where she learned how to beat boys. There's a classic
But
one.
Amish, but it makes you so happy because you're such a feminist as well, Amish.
No, and she's, the thing I like most about her, she asked for no special treatment.
Yeah, amazing.
She said, whatever the rules are, I will compete the way they are and I will beat them at those rules. That's what makes her so much more inspiring. Fascinating. What a talented, brilliantly talented, and still such a humble.
Divine aura. Please go ahead. We'd love to hear.
So she says in this, I later completed my master's program from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. Yet BVB continues to have a special place in my heart. Whenever I go abroad to deliver a speech, and at least 5 people of different ages come and tell me that they are from BVB too. Yes. Sudhaji, I was reading your section that I had enjoyed so much. How I beat the boys, how to beat the boys. What you spoke of.
Yeah, you can hear better now.
I can hear you much better now. It's much better.
Okay.
Yeah. So about telco, Sudhaji. So JRD, Mr. JRD Tata, the legendary JRD Tata, came to
Indian Institute of Science. So I wrote to Mr. J.R.D. Tata, Telco, Bombay. Actually, it was totally wrong. The person who was in charge of Telco was Mr. Sumant Mulgaonkar. The correct address would have been Sumant Mulgaonkar, Chairman Telco, 24 Homi Modi Street, Tamarind Lane, Fort Bombay 1.
Wow.
Okay.
This is the correct address.
The memory.
Whereas I wrote J.R.D. Tata Telco Bombay, but it was J.R.D. Tata, so the postcard went today J.R.D. It reached J.R.D. After reading that, J.R.D. called his staff, whosoever is in Telco, and said, "Is it true that you have written like this?" They said, "Yes, sir." Why have you written? They said, "Sir, there are girls in administration, but there are no lady engineers on the shop floor. The shop floor are in Jamshedpur, Bihar, and Telco, Pune. Normally, they have to come in shift, and we have not taken women because it's not an easy place to work with." He said, "At least give her an audience, give her an interview, and technically you judge. Let us see what happens." So they called for an interview, and I got a telegram. In those days, I was in a ladies' hostel of Indian Institute of Science. So when I was in the Indian Institute of Science, ladies' hostel never had a telephone connection. Okay, because people used to believe probably ladies should not have a telephone; they'll talk to boys or something that kind. Okay, and I got a telegram saying that please come attend the interview at our cost, first class train ticket. And I was quite thrilled that somebody is paying for my first class train. There was no flight between Bengaluru and Pune in those days. So I went, and all my friends in the campus, they said, "Oh, Pune, please do go to Pune. And each one of them gave 30 rupees so that you can buy a sari." Okay, Pune is famous for Pune saris. And So I will go there and I saw there's a panel of people, 7, 8 of them, and I was the only candidate. And they were whispering that, oh, this is the girl who wrote to boss, etc. They're quite upset with me. Then I told gentlemen, okay, you can have interview. And they took my interview, and technically I was very, very good. So they told me, Mr. Satya Murty is still there now. He's an old man now, and he told, why we don't want to take a girl here? Because it is not an easy job. It is administration, research, teaching. Girls can do better. But this is with men and machine. I said, in 629 AD, Hunat Singh wrote a book known as Cgi, Wandering in the West. Thanks to my grandfather, I knew all these things. He says he wanted to travel between Xi'an to Kannauj, and everybody said, don't travel. He said, for 10,000 li journey, there is always one step to start. I said, in our country, if you go on telling that women cannot work here, women cannot work here, you reduce our opportunities. And you are paralyzing the society by reducing the opportunity for girls. If everybody thinks girls cannot work on the shop floor, then nobody will work. Assume they will be able to work. Today I will be there. Tomorrow some other girl will be there. In course of time, 10 girls will be there. And in course of time, 50% girls may be there. Okay. So this is not fair, I told. Wow. And they gave me a job, but I was not keen to join. I came back. My hometown was on the way to Pune. I got down and I told my father all my adventures. My father was like my friend, and I thought he will really praise me. My father said, your upper portion of the head is empty. I said, why? He said, when you write a letter to a person like JRD, can you not write in a bundle lifafa or a cover? You can't write a postcard to a chairman of a company. You can't understand. I said, no, I never had any letter writing, so I had one postcard. Then he said, what have you decided? He said, I'm not taking job. I'm going abroad and doing my PhD. My father said, that is unfair what you're doing. I said, why? When you talk to the Tatas, women require equal opportunities. And when they have given you an opportunity and you want to back out, and if you go abroad, I will call you selfish person. Because once you go abroad, most of the people will not come back. They will get a better job. There is so much attraction there, and you won't come back. When you won't come back, then why did you talk all those things? When you walk the talk is more important than only talking. You have asked for equality, and if they give, and when they have given you a job, you must take and excel what you do. If you don't join, it indicates that only there are people who can talk like, armchair philosophers. This is my opinion. You have opened a Pandora box of equality, then you show it. However, decision is yours. That's what I always used to like about my father. He will give his advice. In those days, 1974, decision is yours. 2 days I thought over it, and in those days it was not like what it is there. I want my space. I will do what I like. This is my life. No, I thought over it what my father said. It has got more meaning, and my father had seen many more rainy seasons than what I have seen. Tears in my eyes, I told the letter of going abroad and the rest is history. Today, when I go back, I see a lot of girls on the shop floor. I think of me writing a letter to JRD is not great, but JRD being in such a high position could read a letter, a postcard sent by a middle class small town girl with no connection, with no money. She is asking for a justice, and it was his greatness. He gave me justice. Today, when I go back to my own engineering college in instrumentation, electronics, there are 70% girls, 30% boys. I said, they are in minority. I know what it is to be in minority. Please look after them well. When I go to the shop floor and I see so many children, so many young girls on the shop floor, I always thank JRD breaking the ice and giving an opportunity.
Raageshwari, if you have a question.
Of course, so many. Firstly, Koti Pranam, Sudhaji. I must tell you, for everyone who's streaming in all over the world, Sudhaji has not taken a break even today. She doesn't take holidays. You send an email to Sudhaji, she is as prompt as anyone can imagine. So she's just such a brilliant, divine aura to be around. Koti Pranam again to you. So you not just inspire women, men, Amish and million others, but you inspire grandparents as well, because it's so interesting. We're going to talk about 3,000 Stitches And your divine father, in a very interesting way, inspired you with the Devdasis to write this, to do the work. But Amish will ask you about that. I want to ask you about the children's book. Sudhaji is aware that I read to Samaya, how I taught my grandmother to write. It's so inspirational. Please talk about your grandmother and the entire concept. Now, this story is also part of our syllabus in India. So please let us know about that journey.
There is one generation which has grown up in India, this as a part of their syllabus. And whenever I meet youngsters in the airport or a station somewhere, they said, "Ma'am, I have read your book, How I Taught My Grandmother." So there is it is there for the last 15 years, I suppose. It is there in the syllabus, I suppose. Okay. I come from a village and I grew up with my grandparents. My grandfather was a Sanskrit scholar and a teacher. My grandmother was a housewife, and she was extremely bright and kind. I used to read, she never went to school because she lost her mother in a very young age, got married, had 10 children, many grandchildren. She always spent time, but she was very fond of listening to stories. So every day I used to read a story for her. It was like a serial. In those days, there used to be paper serial or weekly serial. So I used to read one weekly serial for her. It used to come on Wednesday to our village. And that evening I will read for her. Then she used to go to temple and tell all her friends that story, the story of a woman who of old age, old lady. She used to go to Kashi. She wanted to go to Kashi, etc. My grandmother could relate to that lady because my grandmother wanted to go to Kashi. She will tell all her friends and they will discuss as if it is happening, what will happen to her next day, all those things. Once there was a wedding in the neighboring village and I went to grandmother said, I can't come. So I went with my other cousins and she told me, will you come? I said, yeah, I'll come on Tuesday. And there, with a lot of laddus and friends around, I forgot to come on Tuesday. And there was no telephone, no letter writing in those days. I'm talking 1958 or 1960s. Okay. So I come happily on Friday or Saturday. And when I came, I could see my grandmother was extremely sad. She didn't tell why. And in the night, I used to sleep with her. And she came and sat next to me. And she told me, as she was talking to herself, I have money, good grandchildren, we have lands, everything is fine. But I feel I'm in a cage because I can't read. And then I said, I used to call her Awa. Awa in Kannada means mother. But she was a grandmother, but still I would call her Awa. I was very much attached to her. I said, Awa, what's your problem? She said, look, Tuesday you didn't come. Wednesday that weekly paper came and I saw it has come. I could touch that, but I can't read. I felt I wish my fingers have the knowledge to read, but I could not. Whole night I was thinking, I'm dependent on somebody. I'm dependent because I can't read. And once you cannot read, that means you're lost the freedom of knowledge. And a person without knowledge is very difficult to live. One can live with less money. One can live with less beauty. One can live with less food. One cannot live with less knowledge. She said, Ajnana is the worst enemy for a person. And I said, oh, it's okay. I will read now. And, I was 9 years old girl. She said, no, I have decided to study today onwards. I said, ah, ha, 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 ha. I laughed at her. Your hair have become gray. And there is a wrinkle on your body. And at this age, you want to go to school? She said, no, I'm not going to school. You are going to teach me. You are going to be my teacher. And then I said, how will you do? She said, don't worry. I'll find out time. And she will cook fast. And every day, only 3 of us were there at home. Grandfather, myself, and grandmother. So I'll start teaching. And, I got a kind of authority on her because, I can dictate whatever I want. I said, Awa, you have to write 100 times E. Or you read 10 times this alphabet. Poor one, I will give her so much homework. And she would do so well. And, night I will be listening to radio, sleep, I'll be sitting on a jhula, but she will put a kandil, a lamp and sit and read and write. Wherever she will get a time, she will take the book and alphabets. She went on reading. Within 3 months, she was able to read. And then it was Navratri or Dashara time. We have a one-day Saraswati Puja, which is very, very important to most Indians that day. So we consider Saraswati the goddess of knowledge. So that day, Awa called me and she told me, please sit down on a charpai. I sat, and then she brought me a dress material. She gave me, and surprisingly, she touched my feet. I was taken aback because never ever in Indian traditional families or Indian tradition, younger person will never be touched, their feet is never touched by elderly people, particularly grandmother who was 50 years older than me. I said, no, Amma, you can't do. She said, no. The Shastra says, in Kannada we have, that is, our Shastra says, if someone teaches even one akshara to you, you should respect that person as a teacher. And teacher is above everybody. Teacher is highest, one of the highest person in hierarchy, Acharya Devo Bhava. Okay, so you're not my granddaughter. You have opened you're unlocked the knowledge or the wisdom or habit of the adnyana. So you are a teacher. A teacher should be respected. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha. A Guru is the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Guru is everything. And such Guru, I fold my hand. Not you as my granddaughter. I said, no, that is not acceptable. I may be for some time your teacher. Suddenly I touched her feet and I said, please forgive me. You know how you could do. And she said, fine. Then I said, okay, I saved my money and I brought a book. By the time that serial has become a book, Kashi Yatra. So I gave that book to her. Immediately my grandmother read Kashi Yatra, author Triveni, from publication, everything she read. I said, oh, you got first class mark. Oh. And that's what I want to tell. She told me, for learning, age no bar. The greatest message of my grandmother is, for learning, age no bar. When I became 60, I said, if I would not have done engineering, if I would have been a normal person, not doing any of these things, what I would have done? I would have done Indology. So I enrolled myself in a diploma in Indology. At my 60th birthday, I took that as a gift because my grandmother taught me, for learning, age no bar. The day you stop learning, you become old. As long as you learn, you are always young.
Oh, lovely.
Wonderful.
I can see Amish and me both are moist-eyed because it's been just so
fascinating.
emotional.
And Sudhaji, your grandmother's story also reminds me of the trip to Kashi, which your grandmother wanted to make. The 3 handfuls of water that you speak of, and my ancestors are from Kashi. My father's family is from Kashi, so I got very emotional on reading that piece, and I'm sure everyone here would love to hear that story and the pratigna that you took at Bangaji. If you can just
my both grandparents were great devout Hindus, and for them, going to Kashi, like any other Indian will feel, it's the ultimate thing in life. You have to go to Kashi, take a glass of water and put it on Vishwanath. That means it's a ticket to the moksha. Okay. And they were very keen, but they were not able to go. Number one, they did not know any other language other than Kannada and Sanskrit, of course, my grandfather knew. And they were strict, or they were from an Orthodox family, they can't eat outside. And going to Kashi will take 3 to 4 days in those days, 4 or 5 days, and they can't eat on the train. And they were also old. So they always talk about, they read a book on Kashi, they said, oh, there's Annapurna temple is there, there's the Kashi Vishwanath is there, there's the Bhairavanath is there, there's the Hanuman temple is there. They knew everything about Kashi, but they can't go. And in village, if somebody goes to Kashi, they come back and they will always have a ceremony of the Kashi Samaradhane. That day they will give the Kashi thread and Ganga to us. So my grandmother always used to dream of going to Kashi, and they could not do it. And in the old age, they died. So somewhere, when later part of my life, I used to ask so many questions, but when I started reading on Kashi, mine was more of a, in a historical point of view, more of a, not of a religious way, but more on historical point of view. How old is Kashi? How many people ruled? Why Kashi was always important? What is Kashi famous for? Music, dance, literature, and ultimately Kashi is Varanasi's ultimate seat of knowledge. And I read Diana Eck's book on Varanasi, which is a PhD thesis. And I met her also in Harvard. So she talks about lot about Kashi. Then I read Huinat Sang's Wandering in the West about Kashi. He talks. He says how the Kashi is so beautiful. So different people have talked about Kashi or Varanasi, and I used to read. Then I decided I will go to Kashi once when I was 45 years old. Okay, and I went to Kashi. But in South India we have this custom. For us, Kashi is so far. It was so difficult to go. Unlike North. North, if you are in Delhi, you are in Kannauj, Kashi is very near. You are in Allahabad, it's very near. For us, it is very hard to go, in those days at least. So if you go to Kashi, the rule is you go, normally people go in their old age, after 60 or something. And when you go and come back, you must leave something in Kashi, which is extremely dear to you. Like, somebody went, they left jalebi, they used to like jalebi, said, I will not eat jalebi. Someone will leave rasagulla, somebody will eat amrud, somebody will leave mango, something eating things, or something which is very dear to you. That's the reason my husband always used to tell, I will not come to Kashi. The most dearest of yours you should leave, then I have to leave you there, okay? So you have to make that loose comment on that. So when I went to Kashi, I never had such things. I went to Kashi more as a history research person, which Amish will understand, than more of the religious, which my grandmother used to think. For her, Kashi is ultimate. For me, Kashi is one of the oldest city of our country, carrying heritage. That was more important to me. Then I went around the Kashi, etc. Everything. Then, I was quite well known in my friend circle and cousin circle for choosing saris, because I always choose saris looking at nature. If you have a mango color body of the sari, then you should have a green border, because mango looks beautiful when you have green leaves. Where in mango, orange color, mango color doesn't look nice. Nature gives you different shades of color. A kauna chitrakar hai, a kauna chitrakar. Subhadra Devi Chavan has written that God is the greatest chitrakar artist in the whole world. You look in Jaitramas or in Basant, what are the color shades of the leaves? Reddish, pale green, and dark green later. So I used to say, when you wear a dark green sari, you should wear only the pale green blouse, because it gives you the bahar ka sense, you get it. Similarly, when in April and May, in Karnataka, you get Mysore jasmine, white jasmine on green creeper. So I say, when you have a green sari, you should have white print on that. You feel as if you are wearing, mogra or jasmine. So this is my concept.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know. So whenever somebody is getting married, hey, Sudha, they will take me for sari shopping, because I will describe this sari should look like this, and then I will buy. I don't know. That was more of a joy to go, everyone, and we should. So previous day I went in Kashi and saw a lot of Kashi Banaras sarees. This print, that good, all those things. And we are 3 sisters, lots of cousins. I said, maybe I'll buy 5-6 sarees. And next day morning, I know I have a friend in Kashi. I went to his house, and it was on the Gai Ghat. I got down on the Gai Ghat and I took bath. Then I remembered, unknowingly, my mind went back 20 I was 45, went back maybe 30 years back or something like that. I just remembered my grandmother from nowhere. I said, I used to tell I wanted to go to Kashi. And my grandfather used to tell. I said, okay. I said, first, it's normally, you should give tarpan there. In most families, men give tarpan. I said, it doesn't matter. For me, actually, I don't have difference between men and women. I said, I'm the dearest of my grandmother. Let me give tarpan on their name. I took water in Arghya, we call. And just I was leaving, I said, oh, grandparents, wherever you are, on your behalf, I'm giving tarpan from Ganga to Ganga. And that is the correct way to tell. Actually, my grandfather tell me the shloka. And for this, the Bhaskara is the witness. That means sun is the witness. I'm giving tarpana to you wholeheartedly. I gave the first tarpana. Then, unknowingly, I took the second one. I did not know why I did that. I said, oh, this tarpana I want to give to our country, India. What a great country I am born. It is with Himalaya, with Ganga, and with a great culture you have given. Blessed are the people who are born in India. I felt it. I said, oh Ganga, you are the witness. I'm extremely proud and happy and fortunate to be born in this country. And this is Tarpana to my own country. And son as a witness. I should have got up actually. My 2 is over. When you do second time, I said, why can't I do third time? I took the third again. I did not have any agenda. That time I said, suddenly I remembered, when you go to Kashi, you must leave the most important thing in your life. I said, okay, what is the most important thing for me or for a woman in general is shopping, and in particularly sari. And I always enjoyed it. I said, unknowingly, I said, oh Ganga, this Tarpana is that I'm leaving shopping forever, particularly sari shopping or anything for me in general, unless it is needed. Unless it is needed, like medicine. If I say goodbye to medicine, then I will die. So, and unless it is needed, bare minimum things, minimalistic, I will become. And this is, I'm leaving the Garghya, giving the Arghya is detaching from that. I said, and you, son, as a witness. And Ganga, you are a witness. Then I came on with water on my head and towel around me. I came and sat on the Gai Ghat. I said, what have I done? I said, what did I talk? Was it due to emotional way I gave? Was it sudden? Or what is the reason? Why did I talk like this? Then I said, okay, how will I live without sari shopping? It's the most important thing for me. I love it more than a sari. I like the process of selecting the sari. How can I live it? Then I said, oh, in India, we know for every religious, we do some pratidnya. We have always a loophole. Okay, always there is a parihar. I can do something. Then after 1.5 hours, I just sat. I could not move, looking at Ganga. Then I said, what am I talking? Whom am I cheating? Am I cheating myself? I told Ganga, you are a witness. And Ganga is perennial. Adhodo Gangeyam. That is a Jagannatha Kavi talks about Ganga, and it's the Gangavatarana, which was taught by my grandfather to me, the origin of Ganga, and Ganga Stuti, that is Adhodo Gangeyam. Oh Ganga, you start from here, and how you change our India's history, etc. I have learned Ganga Utarana. And who is Ganga? She is from Vishnu's pada. She was head, Jannu's ear. And such Ganga I have taken as a witness. How can I go back on that? Then I said, God, you made me to take that oath. You are responsible that I will not, neither to left nor to right. Next death cross, next insult on that, what they say in Latin. Neither to left nor to right. I will not do. I will forever, I will give. And it took some time, not many years, some time to understand what I have talked and what I meant. And the love for shopping was entirely killed from that time onwards. I don't shop at all. I just do not like shopping. I don't buy silver, gold, anything for me. Medicines, books, travel is my only expenditure. I don't have anything I aspire in life. But it has given me a great freedom in life. I don't have any attachment on anything. But I have a kind friends, sometimes they give me sari to wear of their choice. Nowadays I will tell them, don't give me once in a while. But when my children got married, I did not buy sari. I did not buy. I said, no, I don't need. My mind is so much full and I don't have anything bucket list now. So I say,
wow.
No. And I'm very happy because I learned the art of detachment from there. I don't require anything, minimum things. And thanks to Ganga as a witness and Bhaskara as a witness.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's brilliant. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about? No, I'm only thinking about. It's been so.
Yeah,
it's so emotional. Before you go into 3,000 Stitches, which is again going to be such an emotional talk, because we were talking about children. There's such an interesting story, Sudhaji, about a lovely little boy who you met in the train, who was
and the
3,000
stitches, and the 3,000 stitches. Sorry, 3,000 stitches was when you got that gift of the Devdasis that you had saved. That would be a fascinating story, I'm sure, for everyone to hear. And what how emotions make a gift so much more special.
I will tell you. In 1996, we started Infosys Foundation. And I decided, I decided to work for the poorest of the poor people. And there's an article before that actually, but because of the shortage of time, I will not tell you. What made me to start Infosys Foundation is because of my daughter. My daughter asked me a question, when I was 45 or 46, Amma, what is your duty? And she said, you are well-read, well-traveled lady. What's your duty? You have money now. Do you want to be glamorous life? Do you want to lead a glamorous life? What do you want to do with your life? And first 25 years, you excelled in your education. Next 20 years, you worked with your husband to build Infosys. At 46, what's your aim in life? She was very upset with me for that. She asked me. And then I decided I told I will start a foundation. And that's the reason I tell in my family, youngers teach elders. I taught my grandmother, my daughter taught me. What's my aim in life at that time? I started Infosys Foundation, and I used to wear, in those days, I was also once upon a time young, I used to wear jeans and a t-shirt. I had a bobbed hair. So the first thing I said, okay, I will work with the Devdasis, because I come from that area where once upon a time Devdasis were the servants of the Lord. And they used to be great artists, but over a period of time, they have become, a kind of sex workers. So I have seen them, though I always used to feel I should work for them. And one day I took a notebook and a pen and went to their epicenter where they assemble. And I told them there is a bad disease by the name AIDS has come, and you people should be very careful. I want to help you, etc. They were very, very upset with me. Number one, they said, who called you? And you want to write something on us and make money, and we are guinea pigs for your writing. Then they were worried about this AIDS disease. So they felt they should not talk to me. And I did not go. I insisted, no, I want to help you people. So they got so upset, they threw chappals at me. And I came back and I was very upset. I was extremely upset. They threw chappals at me. And after some time, after 2-3 weeks, I went back again. Same way, I went back and I said, no, I really want to help you. I really want to work in this area. This is this is an important thing, etc. This time there was a tomato harvest season. So they threw rotten tomato at me and said, go back. I came back and started crying. I said, why should I do all those things? I can also sit at home. I can go to club. I can enjoy life. Enjoy means go out. For me, nowadays, my joy is my work actually. But why should I do all these things? My father came, and he said, why are you crying? I said, they threw chappals, they threw tomatoes. He said, then you should thank them. You got a promotion, chappal to tomato. Much better, no? Tomato is much better than chappals. He said, look at your face in the mirror. I said, what is there to look at? He said, you have a bobbed hair. You are in a Western dress. They will not feel at home with you to talk to you. If you want to work with poor people, you should dress like them, eat like them, talk to them, sit with them on the ground. And if you show like this kind of a thing, then they will not accept you. I said, my intentions are important. My dress is not important. I may look very westernized person, but inside I may be extremely Indian. He said, that is what you think. The world doesn't think that way. Particularly, those people don't think that way. So then he said, if you want to work for them, you should change your dress code. And I said, no. Then he said, make your decision. Ultimately, it is your life. And after 3 days, I decided, okay. I bought first a silver Mangal Sutra, because I always believe that marital status need not be shown. But then I bought a Mangal Sutra. Then I tied my hair. Then I wore 100 rupee sari. My dad came with me. We went there. And my dad, first my father started talking, he said, my daughter is a school teacher. She has come to give scholarship to your children. And I asked my father, I called him aside and said, where did I tell you? He said, you should understand the best way to reach a mother's heart is through children. So improve the children, mother will be happy. My friendship with them started. And they never asked me my name. And because I was older too, they felt I'm helping them. They called me Akka. Akka in Kannada means sister, Didi, Badi Didi. So they called me Badi Didi, and my friendship started with them. They thought I was a school teacher thanks to their ignorance. They did not know Infosys, etc. because that was an advantage. The moment they think Infosys, Narayan Murthy, money, etc., then they would never become my friends, So over many years, I worked for them. 18 years I worked with them. And I was very fortunate to get a person by the name Abhay Kumar. Without Abhay, this would not have been possible. Abhay is a special person. He was an engineer who came to me asking for a job in foundation. I said, he's from Delhi. I said, this fellow won't understand. Social work does not mean always easy things. People look down upon you. People throw chappals, this, that. I said, Abhay, you can't manage. And he said, no, I want to work only with you. Then I said, okay, I will teach you. I said, okay, I'll send you to that area with the Devdasis where I'm working, and you work for 6 months and come back. After 6 months back, Abhay comes back, a boy from Delhi. Now he talks in broken Kannada and said, Akka, you are given the best job for me. I'm going to stay there. Without Abhay, I would not have done. And me and Abhay started working for them. And they all of them told their own stories, how they were sold in the market, how they were treated by their customers, all those, and they really wanted to come out of it. We started giving scholarship to their children, and many of them became nurses, few of them became doctors, some of them became engineers, policemen, etc. So many jobs they got. And pimps used to really threaten us, will break your knee, or break your leg, etc. Then I started taking help of security from our company. We worked for 18 years, and my father used to tell me, if 10 of them, if you could change Devdasis to normal life, rehabilitate, I will be extremely glad that I gave birth to a daughter who could change 10 lives. But when my father died, I could change only 7. After 18 years, 3,000 of them changed their life. 3,000 of them. And I stood as a bank, for bank guarantee, I stood and I told everyone, rich people run away with money, and poor people will never do that. And my people, particularly my sisters, will never do those things. They never cheated me. They returned the money, everything went on. And then we made their NGO, Mahila Vimochana Sangha, and started a bank for them. And then they called me. They said, Akka, the 10th year of their NGO, please come as a chief guest. We will send you a ticket, air-conditioned Volvo bus ticket. That is their ultimate luxury in life. Please remember. And each one of them gave 100 rupees as a part of the contribution to this function. And 3,000 into 100, the money was they made the total count of 3 lakhs rupees or something. They wanted to give me something, and I went to this on this stage. I went on the stage. Abhay talked. Everybody talked. When it is my turn, I was not able to speak. I'm an extempore speaker. I don't prepare because I talk always through my heart. For me, my brain, my heart, and my tongue, all three are connected in one line. What I think, what my heart thinks, what my brain thinks, I talk. I don't keep a parda or a curtain in between. I don't have curtain. I'm thankful to God. He has given me this life like this. Let him continue the same way. I have the luxury keeping 3 in one line. I just could not talk. Only tears started coming to me. I remember my dear father who told, if you could change 10, today it is 3,000. I looked at them. They wore their level best clothes, not the expensive one. And their children, they have come, 2,000 children, 3,000 parents. Mother, not parents, mother. And then, Akka, you speak. And only tears came. And I just quoted Raja Rantideva. Thanks to my grandfather, many shlokas he taught, and they were very useful to me when I cannot speak. I said, Rantideva says to Lord Shiva, Natvaham kamaye rajyam, na swargam na punarbhavam, kamaye dukkhataptanam, praninam artinashanam. Oh Lord Shiva, I don't want next life. I don't want any kingdom. I don't want a good rupa. I don't want anything great. If at all I am born second time, give me the soft heart and strong hand so I can wipe the tears of others. I only prayed to God that much, and I just got down. I don't know. I could not remember anything. Then 2 ex-Devdasis came on the stage and told, we never knew Akka was so good. We threw chapels at her. We threw tomatoes at her. We looked down upon her. We made sly comments on her. But Akka continued to work with us. She came so many weekends, 500 kilometers she traveled, but we never realized how difficult it was for her. Because of her, today our children have studied well and they are well placed. We thought we'll give her something, but someone told that she comes from a very well-off family. What shall we give? We said, let her be. But all of us decided, put one stitch each on a quilt we'll make, so that the quilt will be warm in winter and it will be cool in summer. And we will remain with her, indebted to her, and always we want to be with our dear sister, Badi Didi, all the time, every night when she puts on her body. And these are the 3,000 stitches. This gift is one of the greatest gift in my life. And now I made them to change all the colors, etc. And that I will give as a gift to people, and I'll send it to your office whenever Corona gets down or when Corona goes.
Okay. That's beautiful. You know, Amish, I wanted to ask Sudhaji. Sudhaji so beautifully spoke about philanthropy, that it's a long-term mission. But how do we inspire this generation, where you said you don't need much in life to be happy, which is brilliant, while we're living in a scarcity syndrome? People have so much. As Dharma, Amish and Bhavna Roy's book beautifully says, that at this period, we actually are living in a time and space where people have more than they've ever had. And yet people are so unfulfilled. So what is it that we are missing? Either education in the school or the ambience at home. Why is it that people are unfulfilled?
Because the simple method of living we have lost. The Upanishad says, what are a few things one should live? There are few rules simple rules have been given, which we never practice. They say you should earn money, which is very important in life. But excess money, draw a line, this is enough for me. Excess money, you should always do dana. Danam priyavak sahitam. That means when you donate, always donate with a good heart and a good tongue. Okay, not I scratch your back and you scratch mine, is not dana. Dana should be given to that person without any return from that person. We should hold hand of those people. Without our help, they will perish. Danam priyavak sahitam shraddhai danam. If you have shraddha, that means you believe in that, then only give. Ashraddhai na danam. You don't believe, don't give. But if you don't give, if you don't help, then how Nachiketa said is very important. He says, if you don't do dana, then what happens to the money which you have stored? There are few results. One, you should use it for bhoga. That means you should enjoy. You go to 7-star, 10-star, 12-star hotels. But still you can't eat more than this much, particularly our age. Or you have to do dana and you don't want to do dana. Then your children will destroy that money. That money destroys your children. And that's why our elders in Indian scenario has told, beta, you should earn money, artha. Artha is important, but vishesha artha, what is there, excess, you should go to the society. That's the reason it is the duty of every person to do according to their strength some dana. And this one has to be done at home first. At particularly parents have to do this one. You have to lead by example. You should not buy so many things. You buy 20 dress and tell your children, no, children live in a minimalistic society, they buy 40. You don't buy and you tell children, still they will buy 2. I used to take my children to my work and show, look, all these people who are so poor, they are as bright as you are. But unfortunately, they are born other side of the line. They do not have opportunities. And it is your duty to create opportunity for those people. Your money, your position is used to help those people. And that is the reason God has given you all these allowances, all this money. That is important. So I always believe parents have to teach this. This is not from the school. It is not from a movie. It is not from a book. It is a mother particularly and a father. These are important. They should say always, these are the things which will help you in the long range. But please remember, the more you tell children they don't do, the more you do, they observe. They absorb like a blotting paper and the ink spills on that. Today's children will not even know about blotting paper because they don't even blot in that kind of ink.
Oh, lovely. Amish, aap puchega?
Yeah, no, I thought we'll ask a few of the audience questions,
of course,
and then we know we are We are nearly at the end of the time that Sudhaji has for us. So we'll just ask, a few audience questions.
Yeah,
Sudhaji,
yeah.
can I have the time?
See, I want to tell you about my new book, Gopi's Diary.
Please.
Gopi's Diary. Gopi is my dog. Gopi is my dog. And one day I felt it. I call Gopi as a dog and talk to him. What Gopi thinks of me? What Gopi thinks of me? So from a dog's point of view, I have written this series, Gopi Diaries series. This is known as Gopi, that finding love. This is the new book which I have written for children, and it's very nice. I feel, because when I gave to children, they said a review has come out well from children. So this is the new book which I have written, and of course, about 2 months back on Children's Day, I released this book, Grandparents' Bags of Stories. These are the stories when children in the lockdown, when children are at home, then how grandparents help people who are suffering in COVID, and along with them some stories. So these are the 2 books I created during COVID lockdown period.
No, in fact, Sudhaji, Raageshwari has the grandmother's bag of stories.
So this I absolutely love.
But Sudhaji,
and grandparents.
And grandparents now. No, we will launch the Gopi book. The UK launch has to be at the Nehru Center. We will launch it.
And with Gopi. With Gopi. We must have Gopi as well.
I will call Gopi. Gopi is no longer a dog. He's a part of my heart.
Of course. Yeah. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. Amish, do you want to take an audience question? And then I'll take...
So if you could just display the audience questions, and we will ask the last one to Sudhaji. So, Sudhaji, Sushmita Pati has a question. Sudhaji, would be lovely to know who or what inspires you.
Actually, what inspires me is when I look at poor people, or the poverty inspires me to help others. When I look at poor people, I always feel it is my duty. It's my duty to do something to them. And that is the reason I work extremely hard. For me, every day is a working day. For me, every day is a holiday. Because my work, I enjoy my work. I always have strong sense of duty towards my country and my people.
How lovely.
Sudhaji, absolute last question. Titiksha Tanushri. Sudhaji, what is your mantra to constantly stay motivated?
The joy of learning. The joy of learning. The day I stop learning, every day I read about 100-page minimum. I read, and every day I want to read something new. Entire British history. I did it. When I was in England, because I said when I'm in this place, I rather know everything, details about the Red Rose War, the White Rose War, every details about that. So maybe because it is partially because of my grandfather was the school history teacher, I enjoy finding out new things every day. The joy of learning keeps me young and motivated.
Sudhaji, on that wonderful note, thank you so much for coming here. If I can quote one of the comments that came up on. I've forgotten who it was from, but he or she said it's difficult to believe that women like Sudha Murty ji still exist in today's world.
There's nothing like that.
No, honestly, Sudhaji, it's one honor. Feels like one is speaking to a Rishika when one speaks to you. What an honor.
I'm born in this country where our ancestors were so great, and they have blessed little bit of that. I'm a very ordinary person in every sense. What I have done is my duty, nothing else I have done extra. And I enjoyed my job. And that's the reason I don't have tension. Okay, that's all I can tell you.
You're an Indian treasure. You're an Indian treasure.
Have a nice afternoon. And, all our fellow Indians, I will tell you, be happy wherever you are and help country wherever you are. Be proud you are an Indian. Be proud you are also the citizen of your own country. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Sudhaji.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank all our wonderful viewers who are watching, streaming in, and being a part of the Nehru Center family. Thank you to our director, Amish, our entire team at Nehru Center, the Indian High Commission, and of course, our divine guest, Sudha Murty ji. Thank you so much for sharing your pearls of wisdom. So many wonderful thoughts, simplistic living, being minimalistic, being givers, not takers. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. Happy New Year once again, and looking forward to meeting you all on another event on the Nehru Center platform.
Thank you, Amishji. Thank you, Raageshwari. And we will meet in person if God willing.
Certainly,
God
certainly.
willing.
Thank you.
Pranam.
Bye.